But what you're about to see is a piece of what we call devised work, which means that there is a script right now. And by the way, this is your newspaper. That's a prop, yeah. There's a script, but the script is only about a day and a half old. The folks here in the cast here and other members of the advanced directing class have been working for about 3.5 weeks on devising this work, which is to say improvising and researching and coming together in what I like to call the respiratory process of creation. So we sort of breathe out and go away and look at things, and then we sort of breathe back in and come together and try things out, and then we breathe out again and so on in a cyclical process of dispersion and collection. And that is a metaphor for the devising process. Just a few days ago, on last Friday, as a matter of fact, we set the final shape of this little 7-minute excerpt, and just last Sunday night, we rehearsed it. So what you're going to see here has had one rehearsal, but it's meant to be a glimpse of a storytelling approach to the 100th Meridian idea that we sketched in our last 3-minute segment.
And we'll be talking a little bit more in detail about what's coming up in the future with that. I just wanted to also mention that obviously we have elements of theater here with our actors, but also elements of art, elements of music, and of course the relationship between the art and science, which is the whole basis of the STEAM movement in the first place. All right.
Here we go.
One thing you will discover when you get next to one another is everybody needs some elbow room. It's nice when you're kind of cozy, but not when you're tangled nose to nosy. Oh, everybody needs a little elbow room.
Extra, read all about it. Westward expansion approved. Move west with the wagons or ride the rails. Plenty of land, plenty of silver, and plenty of gold. Shining new cities on the horizon, plenty of room.
Finally!
My family's already moving west.
I hear the land is so fertile you can plant with one hand and harvest with the other.
This stuff is nonsense, lad. This is wrong. Out and out wrong. The eastern portion of the United States is supplied with abundant rainfall for agricultural purposes. But westward, the amount of aqueous precipitation diminishes in a general way until at last a region is reached where the climate is so arid that agriculture is not successful without irrigation. This arid region begins about midway in the Great Plains, beyond the 100th Meridian, and extends across the Rocky Mountains to the Pacific Ocean. The American West, gentlemen, is a dry place. The little rainfall there is, with few rills, brooks, and choice rivers, are in the employ of the wildlife of those places. What we see as the great expanse of our destiny is a world as fragile as glass. Irrigation is costly, gentlemen. And where water is diverted to one place, another must go dry.
What an immense geography has been revealed. What infinite hives of population and laboratories of industry have been electrified and set in motion. The untransacted destiny of the American people is to subdue the continent, to rush over this vast field to the Pacific Ocean, to animate the many hundred millions of its people and clear them upward. In short, dam it up, gentlemen. Bring those precious droplets from the sky that we might tame the unruly nature of our so-called great American desert. There is land aplenty and water to spare for us to build as we will. In the last year alone, we have far exceeded our estimated rainfall. Rain follows the plow and mighty rivers flow.
I have navigated those waters. I have nearly lost men as good as my arm to low rapids and to high, and seen them troop out for fear of going on, or else caught unaware by wary neighbors.
Men have died, certainly, but in pursuit of something greater, something towards which we reach even now. At the risk of making light of my colleagues' adventures, what crewmen ever drowned but where there was water enough sufficient to do the deed?
I have communed with the people of those lands, from Paiute to Cheyenne, and none, not a one, has held the view that at any point in human history could the land support the farming and industry of the millions who would live there.
Perhaps our colleague ought to read the cards he's dealt before issuing opinions on who's to win the hand.
To give more definite form to some of the recommendations for legislation made above, 2 bills have been drawn, one relating to the organization of irrigation districts and the other the pasturage districts.
We need to continue westward with our heads held high and our plows in the ground.
It is not supposed that these forms are the best that could be adopted. Perhaps they could be greatly improved, but they have been carefully considered.
Rain follows the plow as fortune follows our wagons.
I have co-authored and presented for your consideration. Just as I had no intention in my
To reiterate,
of authoring this report,
the untransacted
details the
destiny of the
safeguard
American
proposed
people is
situation.
to subdue the continent, to rush over this vast field of the Pacific Ocean, to establish a new order in human affairs, to set free the enslaved, to confirm the destiny of the human race, to perfect science, to emblazon history with the conquest of peace, to shed a new and resplendent glory upon mankind, to unite the world in one social family. Divine task, immortal mission, let us tread fast and joyfully the trail before us. Let every American heart open wide for patriotism to glow undimmed and confide with religious faith in the sublime and prodigious destiny of his well-loved country. Rain follows the plow! Rain follows the plow! Rain follows the plow! Rain follows the plow! Rain follows the plow!
Excuse me, would you all be willing to do a brief interview? Sure. Roll it. James King reporting from Channel 7 News, live from the Central Valley, talking to a group of everyday citizens affected by the recent drought. How are you all dealing with the drought? How has it affected your lives?
Well, it's been difficult to keep the kids entertained. There's been sprinklers, pools, lawns are all dried up.
The drinking water's all coming in bottles now. My well dried up last week.
We've been told to conserve all we can just to keep the crops viable. My uncle's almond trees are dying. My cousin's land is sinking. If only we know.
Lord only knows what'll happen to the wine too, huh? Well, that's all for now. Returning to you in the studio, and cut.
And scene. Any questions or comments about that? Just those few glimpses. Let me ask you a question. Was there an arc of a story present? Did you follow the time horizon and the transitions and all that? Yeah, I see some heads nodding. That's affirming. Did it mean anything to you? Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
The rain follows the plow quote. There's actually that's actually in published literature, of course, in the 1870s, I think. I've actually used that for land atmosphere interactions and climate in actually published research, where that's a citation. So yes, it really makes the point about this idea, in this case, a fallacious idea that maybe the land affecting the atmosphere will always be in a positive sense, when of course that's not the case.
Case of false coupling, right? Yeah. In fact, the character that Dwayne played here, Dusty was John Wesley Powell, as I hope was sort of clear, even though we didn't ever speak his name. This guy is a guy named William Gilpin, Gilpin, who was, among other things, the governor of Colorado, but was also a primary exponent of the idea that the West had limitless resources: land, water, minerals, space, everything. And a lot of the dialogue that they both spoke was from actual primary sources, the Arid Lands Report and Gilpin's speeches. So about 50% of each of what they spoke was their own words, and then we embellished a little bit more for dramatic effect. But it was actually taken right from the literature. Other questions, comments in another 90 seconds or so? Yeah.
I thought it was great, but I think it would be really neat if you had period costumes.
Thank you very much. Yes, yes.
All in good time, my friend. All in good time.
Yes. That's a good segue to let Kevin talk about where this is going. Thank you for that.
What prompted this, other than our general interest in the integration of arts and science and arts and technology, is we were fortunate enough, we being College of Visual and Performing Arts, College of Science, Fall for the Book, a number of us got together and received one of Provost David Wu's multidisciplinary grants to come together and work on a project. And the project we pitched is this 100th Meridian Project about the current situation on the West Coast and where it all started 135 years ago, when good science led to failed public policy. Now, that never happens today, right? And what's going to happen in the future unless we do something about it. So as we move forward, and this very much as Rick described it is just the very beginning seedlings of this idea. And in fact, thank you to Rodrigo for giving us the impetus to put something together for this so that we could continue onward. But next fall, in September, concurrent with the Fall for the Book celebration at the end of September, we are going to be embellishing this quite a bit so that it will be a presentation fully realized with theater, with art, with original music, perhaps performed live, underscoring technology brought to us by professors like Gail Scott White, who is currently working on projects that involve live movies, the integration of live actors and presenters with the technological aspects of code and camera. Sue Werbican from the School of Art, who's working on some of the original glass slide photography of the Colorado River Basin and Grand Canyon area, what it looked like back in the 1870s and 80s and what it looks like today comparatively. And the ideas are really just now starting to percolate and formulate in terms of exactly what sort of shape this will take as we present this in conjunction with Fall for the Book. We're hoping to get some authors in for Fall for the Book. You all know what Fall for the Book is, right? That will talk about this theme as well and tie it all together in a very interdisciplinary fashion. So that's the plan moving forward. Also, this is sort of a call to arms for anybody who's out there interested, student or faculty, that is interested in participating in some fashion with us. If so, just make sure we have your business card. We have periodic meetings about once a month just to brainstorm at this point and start to formulate more concrete ideas. And costuming the actors is certainly one of those. We have the full benefit of the School of Theater and its costume shop for such purposes. So.
And I just want to give a shout out to Cheng Wuan, who's one of our co-PIs on this project and has been a great collaborator ever since we started this project. And also Liza Durant from the School of Engineering is not here today, but has also become a key member of the team.
Right-ho.
And I think that's all we got.
So gong us off, and thank you very much for having us today.
Thank you.